going. Is it on now? Yes, it is.
Oh, there
I really
it goes.
need a microphone. I was going to go ahead and get it started because let's face it, I got the champion sitting right here.
As you all know, we are here to honor the 1995 state champions. We've got a lot of great awards for them this afternoon. Ernie and I are here, and we are proud to be here. We have been very proud and fortunate to cover the Hall Red Devils on Talk Radio 103 WAIV throughout the season. And from the very first game, we knew that this group of kids was really something special, and they have proven more than that throughout the season. Again, we're proud to be here. I want to turn things over to the principal and official IHSA representative, Daniel C.K.
Thanks, Rich. I want to start out by thanking WAIV. I noticed WLPO is here also. Rich Bowden and Ernie White called me right after the Marian Catholic game, and they volunteered to serve as our MC for this, and we were really happy to have them. They've covered all our games this year, and they've done a great job. Coach, maybe you could give me a hand with this.
Oh.
I've got a letter here from the Illinois High School Association. As you know, I'm the official representative for the Illinois High School Association here at Hall. It says, "Dear Mr. CK, enclosed, please find the results of the blood test given the Hall Red Devils after their thrilling come-from-behind victories against Marian Catholic and McCain High Schools. By this test, the Illinois High School Association has declared that the Hall Red Devils have ice water in their veins." And on a personal note, at that 2-minute and 30-second mark, when I got out of my seat, like a couple of other people, and I started heading down to the field, a couple of other people walked toward the exits, and I got down on the field because I knew I'd have to participate in the first or second place trophy ceremony. I want to tell you, from where I was sitting up in the stands versus what it was like down on the field, it was a world of difference. That wind chill factor made it much colder down on that field than it was where we were sitting up in the stands. So I want to tell you, when Nick and Eric made those catches in that cold, it was even more amazing than it appeared to be up in the stands. So be aware of that. Up on the stand, a good friend of mine was there to present the trophies. He's on the board of directors of the Illinois High School Association. He's a principal at Savannah High School. His name is Bill Wright. Bill's a good friend from my days up in Northwest Illinois, and he mentioned to me something that I'm sure any of us could have said after that game. That was likely the most exciting high school game Bill had ever seen, and I have to agree with him. If you've been to as many high school events as I have, and I know many of you have, you just don't see teams turn it around the way the Red Devils did in that championship game. That game was over let's face it, folks, it was over. And yet, Cinderella had not yet come to the ball. And the clock had not yet struck 12. And speaking of coming to the ball, I don't know, any of you had the opportunity to pick up the program, the official program. But when you look at the program, they have the end of season AP ratings. And you will not find the Spring Valley Hall Red Devils among those ratings. The fact that our all-state player was quoted by the Peoria Journal-Star, Jim Balzerine, I believe that's this quote that we weren't even, no, I guess Nick said that, we weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. Nick Garini said that. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year. I think Coach, you've already commented on that rebuilding year business. The fact that they made it all the way and in such impressive style makes it doubly important. Don Robinson mentioned to me, Don Robinson is the Associate Director of the Illinois High School Association. Don's comment to me was, it's very unusual for a team to win the state championship having never played in the game before. And that was sort of unfortunate for our friends over across the field from Quoin. They had been there last year. They were expecting to be the champion this year. They didn't make it. One of the comments that I've heard all season long, and it continues to be one that is characteristic of this Red Devil team, is that they're really a great bunch of kids. The last 2 seasons, when I send in our names for the all-conference, all-academic team, I think some of the other schools sort of shudder when they see the grade point averages of some of our top players being among the highest in the whole conference. And it isn't like 2 that I'm sending in, it's like 6. Top-notch academic students as well as top-notch athletes. And I'm very happy to say that that example rubs off on a lot of things that they do. And I think it's been a real positive school year because of the things happening with our volleyball program and the things happening with our football program. It's really been a very exciting fall here at Hall. Mr. Smith, from the looks of the number of sophomores on our roster this year and the quality of the play of our sophomores, this is for you, Mr. Smith. I think rock and roll is here to stay. Finally, I just have a couple of more comments, then I'm going to turn it back over to Ernie. One is I'm extremely proud to be even a small part of this. I know a lot of you could probably do a better job speaking about the years the team struggled and how they finally, after all these years, made it to be the top team in 3A. But I'm just very proud to be here, and I have to fess up to something similar to what Nick said about not supposed to be making the playoffs. I have used the term this year of overachiever about this team. Overachiever in sports has a meaning, in academics it has a meaning. It's kind of, they don't do what they're predicted to do. They do better than they're predicted to do. And the only rap on being an overachiever sometimes is that there's sort of an expectation that sooner or later the overachiever will not overachieve. He will achieve or she will achieve at what she's expected to achieve. That didn't happen with this team. And I think I'm going to be, I'm admitting it, I said it, but I'm going to be the first one to also say that this was not a team of overachievers. And in fact, what they were is a different name, state champion.
Well, next off, we want to get some of these coaches up here, and we had these guys on the show yesterday at WAIV, and one of the silent guys, maybe you want to introduce them off first.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot from this particular coach, but he's very important to the squad, and let's hear it for Coach K.
I got cards.
Yeah, you got cards. I'm probably sure. I need cards. I just like to say that thank you to the team behind me for giving me the opportunity to coach these fine young men this year. It was a long struggle early. We had a lot of question marks, but as things got going, I think the players behind us had an idea of what we wanted to achieve this year, and I think after the first few games, we really got cooking on what we wanted to do, and I think they just started to believe in what we were trying to accomplish. So, and it just was like a roller coaster, and it's just unbelievable the feeling that even the players had, but as a coach. When you can't get out there and play, but you're on the sideline and you're just standing there watching what's going on, and you wish you could be out there, but sometimes it's even tougher for us as coaches because we really don't have a control on what happens. But I tell you what, I don't know about overachievers. I just think these kids had it in their mind and in their heart that they wanted to prove to everybody that we are number one in the state. The last thing I'd like to say is I'd just like to thank Coach Vicini and Coach Smith for letting me be a part of all this. And it's funny because I almost wasn't a part. My wife was going back to get her graduate work, and I talked to Coach Vicini early in the year, and I said, well, I don't think I can coach football this year because my wife's going to be going back to school. So he had made some arrangements to see if we could find somebody else, and then maybe a week or so before the season was going to start, I found out my wife wasn't going to start until October. So I gave him a call real quick, and he said, I don't know if I can get you in here, but thank the Lord I got back in. Thank you.
Well, let's see, we got to introduce another coach. I say we introduce the real silent one next.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to hear from someone we haven't heard throughout the year whatsoever, not after every game in particular.
Well, I got one thing to say about this guy is there was this garage in Mendota with this funny sign on it. The sign is down. Coach Smith.
I would like to say just maybe a couple things here off the top of my head. First of all, I'm very happy to be here today because the pep assembly we had before the championship game, the Nissan ran out of gas on the way here. I know I said it was car trouble, but it was trouble for me, and it was out of gas. And the first house I knocked, and I thought to myself, this doesn't speak very well of me, because I knocked on the door, and they opened it up, a crack and so forth, and I was dressed in, full hall military regalia, and they opened the door, and I could see inside the house the banners and the Red Devil sweatshirts, and so I said, hey, I got some car trouble. You live to the high school. Oh, no, I don't think so. The door's closed. So you don't need to be afraid of me. I won't, get in your house and break anything up or attack the kids or anything like that in case I run out of gas, in your neighborhood. It's just a freak of nature, that type of thing. But I want to say one thing here to the sophomores coming up. I could speak in terms of cliches as regards, big shoes to fill, and so forth, and things like that. But I just have two words I want them to remember all in the off season here between now and then we hit the field this summertime, because this is going through my mind as regards these wonderful kids coming up. Fresh meat. Okay. we have a saying here, the offensive line kids, and sometimes I say loosely offensive line kids because I will include the defense and any kids that have to be handied on this too, but specifically the offensive line kids, individual responsibility, unit pride. And we live by that, and we didn't die by that this year, we live by it, you know. And some of you guys might see us down in the end zone down there before games. You might wonder what we're talking about. Well, I'm threatening them. No, I'm not. The kids get this in their heads and in their hearts, and hopefully they always carry it with them. And, don't jot this down. This is a secret the offensive line has. So I want you guys all promised here you won't take this out of the gym today. What we're saying is this, and we all say it together: we're fast, we're strong, we're the best. We deserve to win, we will win. And that's the name of that tune.
They were state champs, you believe that? I want to know one more thing here. And I like to tell them shit.
This is a victory cry and so forth, and so maybe it's inappropriate to be in the gym with with civilians doing it. But I want the team to join in this with me, and I think you guys have seen it after the game, the king of rock and roll, and I want everybody here to do it. If you don't do it, I'll be embarrassed. It's okay, it's not the first time. Okay? But I want you guys to bail me out on this, because I get my hands on you, you're close enough here, okay? So I want you to rock and roll with me, okay, when I do it. And I want you guys to join in with the king of rock and roll. Who's the king of rock and roll? It's the king of rock and roll. Who's the king of rock and roll? It's the king of rock and roll. Who's the king of rock and roll? It's the king of rock and roll.
How can you not get excited after hearing Coach Smith?
Wow.
They've asked us to, Ernie in particular, to kind of be calm and cool and collected. We kind of had a hard time doing that throughout the season, in particular last Friday.
Well, thanks to these guys, heart attack kids is what they're called. Unbelievable.
Next up, we'd like to hear from the head coach, Gary Vicini. Gary?
Don't you dare. I just told the guys, I'm more nervous than I was when I went out onto the field on Friday night. This is just an awesome reception and just, I think, a culmination of just a season that these kids have just done, a tremendous job. And I know we keep talking, and Dan alluded to it, overachievers and nobodies that and I know everybody had referred that to, but they turned out to be the state champs. We couldn't even win our own conference. That's how tough it was. We couldn't even win our own conference. We were state champs. You figure that one out. I'm usually like them. When I get out, I'm just off the top of my head. But there's some things I want to say and need to say, and I just wanted to write them down so I wouldn't forget them. And I first want to thank the football parents for making this happen. I don't know what was going on 17 years ago. I know I was here, but thank you for being there wherever you're at 17 or 18 years ago. Second, I want to thank the fans of Hall High School, all the fans of Hall High School, for their support and backing you've given us this year. It's just been and what Mr. CK was so true about the wind chill, but when we scored the first touchdown on the comeback, I sort of got this bunch, and this bunch, and then just multiply by 10, and look back up to see a red on that west side. It was just an awesome sight because it just like rain chills up and down my body, and I know what the Quoin players were looking at on the other side. I know what they were looking at. I know what it was like to confetti I cleaned up the last 2 days of my band. And, it was snowing up there, but just going crazy. And I'm sure that the Quoin players just had to see it and said, oh, something, whatever. I'd also like to thank my coaching staff and Lou Zecca, Keith Buchan, Eric Bryant, and Joe Borowski. Just been a tremendous job this year. If you look down the road, like something they referred to, rock and roll is going to continue to stay at Hall High School, and they have a big part of that nice coaching program. I know Eric's one of the newcomers this year, but besides that, the other 6 of us have been here together for a long time and went through a lot of battles together, and the battle was finally won, and we're all in it together, so congratulations, guys. I'd also like to thank especially Steve and Pete, who worked so hard with me. Damn it, don't do that. I know. I do, right? I do, right here. They may not believe it, I know. But they've just done a tremendous job coaching these young men and, got the fullest, I think, of their potential and, on the field, off the field, and some of the, I want to call sidebar things that go on between coaches and players that aren't coaching the X and O's, talking about things that maybe are going on in school and everything else, and trying to straighten out what's going on to maybe get their heads straight. And these 2 guys have done a super job of that, and I just want to thank them for everything they've done for this football team and myself. Thank you, guys. No kid, he carries the bags, makes sure they got spikes, makes sure the water's out there, takes the water in, and he does that too, so. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Lisa, my family and friends for all their support and encouragement over the last years. Thank you, friends. Thank you. That was more of the emotional part. Yes, we are 3A state champs, Spring Valley. Yes. Yes. 1995. This team in 1995 Hall Red have made history. They will always be remembered not only for what they have accomplished, but for where they practiced, the way they played together, and finally, their never say die attitude that brought it on the field and brought home a state championship to Spring Valley and Hall High School. And I'm on my 3rd card, so this is it. And finally, I want to tell the team, especially the seniors, for what you have long endured. Thank you for making one of my dreams come true. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, let's hear it again for the coach. Coach Gary Vasiti, come on. We're the state champions. Let's go. Let's go. State champions. State champions. Thank you very much. I slipped. I know I was supposed to stay calm, but what can I do?
All right, next up, it's time to honor those state champions, the players. And here to award the championship medallions is Superintendent Robert Verdon and back Principal CK. At the end of the medallion. All right. And now, the 1995 Hall Red Devils State Championship team. Coach Joe Borowski. Coach Eric Bryant. Coach Keith Buchan. Coach Lou Zecca. Coach Pete Kaspersky. Coach Steve Smith. All Red Devil head coach Gary Vasiti. And now the Hall Red Devil team. Nate Sobin. Ryan Andrus. Tony Orlandi. David Barricani. Mike Borowski. Chad Turpin. Derek Baird. Adam Curran. Joe Pickett. Joe Reed. Matt Taylor. Nick Sterling. Eric Yurley. Sean Jepson. J.C. Beister. Eric Hurst. Eric Bryant. Josh Targaletti. Luke Malton. Jeremy Bertrand. Joe Thompson. Matt Pinter. Rich Pemberton. Jeff Holaker. Ray Actis. Tom Jepson. Archie Burden. Craig Pinter. Jim Irwin. Jeff Stoner. Greg Henson. Roger Reed. Yes, we are. And now for your captains, Jeff Turgoletti! Jim Balzarine! And last, but not least, Nick Guarini! Your 1995 state champ, Paul Red Devil! And now for the presentation of the trophy. Principal details the state championship trophy. Coach Gary Vicini.
Hey, Red Devils. I'd like to end this, if it's going to end today, tomorrow, next year, whenever. But I'd like to have, and I didn't even know this thing existed until about 3 weeks ago, until I went to an afterglow, or whatever you want to call it, after a game. I'd like Mr. Barter to come down here for a second. Some of you guys that are about, I don't know, what class is that, Mr. Barlow? 43, I don't know. This will bring back some memories, because I think I was just a gleam in my parents' eyes when this thing was going around Spring Valley.
I'm sure you were. This is a chair I want to lead at this school since I was a little boy and came here. Chickalacka, chickalacka, chow, chow, chow. Boomalacka, boomalacka, wow, wow, wow. Are we in it? Well, like this. Home Township High School. Yes, yes, yes.
Are you guys still doing this MC over here? You're getting that big money.
Nothing new. Congratulations to the 1995 state champs, and I believe the captains would like to say a couple of words. Nick, Jim, Jeff.
I think it's been said once before, if you build it, they will come. Well, here we are. I'd just like to say thanks to the community for being down at ISU and being there when we looked up in the stands when we were down by 10. It was just great to have all the support and put a little more in our hearts. I'd also like to say thanks to the cheerleaders for being there every game and doing their best to get the crowd into it. Thanks to the student body for being there every day in school, you know, saying good luck and just following us all the way. And it's been a great year, a great season, and the best is yet to come.
Once again, we'd like to thank the coaches, freshman coaches, Coach Bryan, Coach Borowski, sophomore coaches, championship season, Coach Secca, Coach Buchan, and the varsity coaches, Coach Smith, Coach Kaspersky, and Coach Vicini. We'd also like to thank the underclassmen for the hard work they put in this season, and I'd like to tell them to continue the tradition. And I personally like to thank one individual, my neighbor, Tommy Riva, for all the practicing in the backyard. Taught me everything I know.
Most of you know I wrote a poem for the pep rally the other day. Well, since this, I made one last verse. For all of you today, I wrote one final verse, but these last few lines were much harder than the first. This was no ordinary game. This was the big show, and now we're state champions, as all of you know. We played with something special, which came from down deep, and went down by 10 with a minute and a half. The odds were sure were steep. We played with our hearts, we played with our pride. When we looked up in the stands, we knew the fans were also along for the ride. We'd like to thank our coaches, families, and all of our fans too. And to finish this poem, I think we all feel the same way. Dreams really do come true. We'd like to thank Joe Pasheni for letting us eat at Gabby's all year long. We really appreciate it. We have one fan in particular we'd like to thank. I mean, he's been at every practice all year long, and he's been here since I was a freshman. He's been here years before I was a freshman. He's here at practice more than we are. He's really a super fan. We have a ball today that we all signed. We'd like to give this to Richmond Young.
you guys are still here. Good. I just want to say something really quick. I'm Ernie, this is Rich, and we do the games for these guys. Yeah! I'm the quiet one. He's the loud one. And we were making a lot of noise with about 3 minutes left in that last game we had. And thank you. And with about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in that game, the radio station that was going to do the next game wanted us to start moving out of the booth. They said it's over and we need to get our equipment in so that the next game can begin. And I told them, I said, I've been riding these guys' coattail all year long. And you guys do not know the Spring Valley Hall Red Devils. Rich Bowden turned around and told this guy, all we got to do is score, get the onside kick and score, and we're going to win the state championship. It's that simple. So Rich has a little something that he wants to give them because we really appreciate the fact that these guys have allowed our station, WAIV, and Rich Bowden and I to ride their coattails. So, Rich, want to give them?
We've known from the beginning that this is a special season, and when we went to our owners and said, well, we'd like to get something to give to the team, they kind of frowned and, well, I don't know if we want to spend that money, and, well, you know. Ernie and I said, well, if you don't, we will. Well, they pitched in, thank them. And we had this plaque made, and a special thanks to Graphic Electronics over here in Spring Valley. When we wanted the plaque made, we wanted it to say state champs. Now, mind you, this was last week. As some of you know, we have a lot of confidence in this team, and we had throughout the entire season. They said you can't put state champs on the plaque because what if they don't win? We said it's got to go on. Well, they didn't put it on. After the game on Friday, the people from the trophy place came by and took the plaque and redid it. It says this: Talk Radio 103.3 FM, WAIV, congratulates the 1995 Hall Red Devil football team. Your hard work and dedication has turned a rebuilding year into the best football team in Hall history. You've created a higher level of excellence for Hall High School. State champs 1995. Thanks all of you for a great season. For some closing remarks, we're going to give it over to the school superintendent, Mr. Robert Burton. For Ernie and I, thanks again. Thanks, Red Devils! How about that Spring Valley version of Bert and Ernie?
I'm the last guy on the agenda today, and usually they put a person there to give the benediction. I'm going to leave that to those people that are in that business. I need to share with you two little personal stories. Had the opportunity this week to talk twice to the superintendent from Quoin, once on Wednesday and once yesterday. Yesterday's conversation, he reminded me of something I'd forgotten I told him on Wednesday. And he said, "You were right, Burden." I said, "Yeah, I was, wasn't I?" What I told him were two things. One, I said, we are going to show up. And number two, trying to make it understandable to this guy from Southern Illinois, I said, our fans, our students, and our team didn't come to sit in the pickup. We're going to be there to play ball, and we did, champ. A man much wiser than me once told me that life is basically summed up with anticipation and memories. We had a lot of anticipation over the last 4 weeks as we marched down that tournament trail, and it was great. But even greater and sweeter will be the memories that these great bunch of student athletes have given all of us here at Hall High School, here in Spring Valley, and all the towns that go to make up our great school district. Folks, guys, we needed that, and we thank you.
You guys got the first three. D-E-V! I-L-S. Devils, okay? Okay, just, you know, I mean, D-E-V! I-L-S! D-E-V! Ho, ho, ho! I said I-L-L-I-N-I. Nobody does that anymore. All the players said they will be available for post-game interviews and autographs after the reception.
Let's get Coach Smith back up here. Let's hear it.
That's a goodbye. Let's have it.
Okay. Just want to say thanks a lot from all the coaches here in the Hall Red Devils. And Elvis has left the building. The Devils have triumphed, and now we have to go home. Thanks a lot.
Well, folks, that's it. The excitement's over.